Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this free recap video we're going to cover a pair of trades that we have on from yesterday, and I'm going to walk you through how we manage them. One is one that's still underway, and I'm going to talk about the different levels we focus on, and the other one is a related setup in the semiconductors, which is a related trade to the Nasdaq, and I'm going to go over a couple individual names within semiconductors. And this is just kind of the way in which a theme-based trades can sort of cascade into related markets, and how I like to think about my trades in a very connected manner. All right, so let's get to the first trade. And the first trade triggered the moderate level today, which is the 34 EMA on the close area. So we have aggressive levels, we have moderate levels, and we have conservative levels. So levels 1, 2, and 3. Now the higher up the bounce in a downtrend is, the closer it is to moderate than conservative, where the risk is less. Initial levels are always going to be the first opportunity, which in and of themselves is great, but it's not going to be necessarily the best risk reward. The moderate level is a good balance, which is where we're at right now. The moderate level for the NQ is 65.55. The conservative level is waiting higher up from here, which is going to be closer to 66.50 or even 66.55. So the zone that I will build a short position in, where scaling in and scaling out is the lifeblood of how I trade. This is that process by which we look at the correction. And by the way, corrections are never fun to trade. They never feel great because downtrends don't correct on bad news. They correct on good news, and they correct on optimism. So it's always a very uncomfortable position. But I stick with the process, and I recommend everybody stick with their process. This is the, here's one right there. We have one right here. This is the fourth time that we've actually seen this correction. So 4 times earlier we had opportunities, and by the way, most especially on these two. This was the election, midterm election, and this was a combination of Jerome Powell and G20. In both times, the news was phenomenal. I mean, look at the way in which we rallied. Look at the candles that rallied us up into the wave and all the optimism before we saw the follow-through to the downside, right? And look, at some point, might this stop working? By the way, here's the first time it happened. At some point, might this stop working? Absolutely. But, you know, these are shorts that we've taken from right around 7,200 down. This is 1,200 points later, okay? So that's what I want everyone to trust the process. And at some point, yeah, you'll have that one last trade, but I'd rather have been able to take profits along the way. All right, so that's the first trade that started off, and the different levels, aggressive or aggro, as I call them, moderate and conservative. So along with that alert, and these are alerts. These are announcements that I make via the Simpler Trading mobile app and the chat room itself. And the other alert was the SMH. Now this is semiconductors. It's one of my favorite associated trades anytime I'm looking at a short position in the Nasdaq. And we looked at an aggressive short zone between the 88.45 to 88.90 levels. That gives me 2 levels, kind of a moderate aggressive zone, right? It's the very initial zone that we can get into. The market, for a lot of traders who were waiting for 88.90, you got that opportunity earlier today. If you were looking for 88.45, you got in yesterday. Today, if you had a limit order waiting there for 88.90, you got it, and the market traded all the way down to 86.49. Well, that's a pretty big deal, because the daily price movement range that I'm looking at on SMH is approximately $2.20 to $3. So in that zone, for traders who bought puts or who are short, you can take profits off the table once we sell off by that amount, which we did today. So that's another way we can look at this. Now, I've got further out targets down at 86.05, but again, I feel pretty good about the direction of the SMH. That's going to bring me to the last point. So when you play SMH, you got to think of, when you're playing some of these ETFs and the broader averages, you have to think about what individual stock names that you might be interested in will be affected by sort of the tide, if you will. Think about the Nasdaq as the tide and SMH as a smaller tide, if you will, a more gentle tide, and then the individual stocks as the boats affected by the tide. Well, one of the names that I really had my eye on, but it's heavily weighted enough within the SMH that I didn't have to go redundant on it, but I wanted to short NVIDIA. Right? So think about the top weighted names in the SMH, right? Number, I think 6 is Broadcom. Then we've got NVIDIA, all right, Texas Instrument, Taiwan Semiconductor, and finally, a whopping 13.75% of the SMH is Intel. So if I'm looking for weakness in SMH, yeah, you better believe if I can find market structure to the downside, I'm going to be looking for it. And NVIDIA was the one that had the best market structure. So if you want to go Nasdaq to SMH to NVIDIA, there you have a single theme and a series of connected trades where I think it's a fantastic way to build trades up or cherry pick and find the setup that you like the best. Okay? All right, so that's where we are right now, building these aggro to moderate level shorts. We do have the president speaking tonight at 9 p.m. Expectations are from a release from the Post that he will not be declaring a national emergency to fund the wall. But here's the thing, and I'm not talking politics here, I'm talking about what could the market think during the Asian session about whatever it is he wants to communicate to the American public. So it's an unusual speech. Don't know how the markets are going to respond, but I'll be keeping this stuff up at 9 p.m. Eastern. The Asian sessions are open, so let's see what kind of reaction we get. You know, I'm a bear. I'd like to see this market sell off. This is the 4th opportunity we've had to short this downtrend, and we're short across all the aggro levels, and we've had opportunities now to short the Nasdaq and the Russell from the moderate level. Again, better risk reward. So keep that exits first mentality in the front of your mind. Think about the chasm between your entry and your stop. Find the chasm that is right for you. That's going to be the entry that is going to serve you for this trade. Okay? All right. Hope that helps. Thank you as always for listening in on these recap videos. I hope they're helpful. They're designed to be. I recommend even the members watch them. So this is a fluff-free zone. All right, gang. I'll see you in the next update.